In the Middle East, the story of Israel and Iran is a drama of shifting alliances and bitter enmity. Today, June the 17th, 2025, these nations are locked in open conflict. But it wasn't always this way. Decades ago, Israel and Iran were close allies, sharing intelligence, trading resources, and stabilizing the region together. This script traces their journey from partnership through the seismic rupture of the 1979 Islamic Revolution to the shadow war that followed. We'll explore how covert operations, nuclear tensions, and proxy battles deepened their divide. Now, with Operation Rising Lion, their rivalry has erupted into direct warfare, reshaping the Middle East. Understanding this transformation reveals how quickly history's tides can turn. Before the seismic shifts of 1979, a surprising alliance quietly flourished in the heart of the Middle East. The bond between Israel and Iran, seemingly improbable today, was then a strategic imperative. Built not on shared culture or religious affinity, but on mutual interests and regional calculations. It was a pragmatic partnership forged in the complex crucible of Middle Eastern politics. As early as 1950, Iran, under the rule of Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, took a bold step, becoming the second Muslim-majority nation to officially recognize the State of Israel. This act of recognition flew in the face of growing regional hostility and Arab nationalism that sought to isolate the nascent Jewish state. Both Iran and Israel found themselves facing common threats. The rising tide of pan-Arabism, championed by figures like Egypt's Gamal Abdel Nasser, and the looming shadow of Soviet influence in the region. This convergence of concerns led to the forging of a pragmatic partnership, a strategic alignment that would have significant repercussions for decades to come. A key component of this alliance was energy. Iran became a vital supplier, providing up to 40% of Israel's oil needs. To ensure the uninterrupted flow of this crucial resource, Iran and Israel collaborated on the construction of the Eilat-Ashkelon pipeline, a strategic artery that bypassed potential Arab embargoes and secured Israel's energy independence. Beyond economics, military and intelligence cooperation flourished, solidifying the bond between the two nations. Israel, with its advanced military capabilities, provided Iran with crucial weaponry, training, and technological expertise. Simultaneously, the intelligence agencies of both countries, Mossad and Savak, engaged in extensive intelligence sharing, working together to monitor and counter shared threats. This multifaceted alliance, though often conducted discreetly, became a cornerstone of Israel's periphery doctrine, a strategy of building alliances with non-Arab states in the region to counterbalance the influence of hostile Arab neighbors. For nearly 3 decades, this unlikely partnership quietly but decisively shaped the geopolitical landscape of the Middle East, defying conventional wisdom and challenging established power dynamics. However, this golden era, built on pragmatism and shared interests, was ultimately destined to be short-lived. The seeds of a profound and irreversible upheaval were already being sown, threatening to shatter the foundations of this surprising alliance. The alliance between Israel and Iran, a relationship that once flourished, was not born out of chance. It was carefully crafted and nurtured by visionary leaders who dared to look beyond the immediate conflicts and envision a future of cooperation. At the heart of this unlikely partnership stood Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi and Israel's David Ben-Gurion, two figures who, despite the geographical and cultural distances, found common ground in their strategic objectives. The Shah, restored to power in 1953 after a period of instability, embarked on an ambitious plan to modernize Iran, transforming it into a regional power. He saw Israel as a valuable non-Arab partner in this endeavor, a nation with whom he could share intelligence and collaborate on development projects. He actively promoted Iran's rich Persian heritage, subtly distancing the country from its Arab neighbors and fostering a sense of unique identity. This cultural positioning made the prospect of friendship with Israel not only palatable, but also logical within his broader vision. Ben-Gurion, Israel's first prime minister and a staunch advocate for the nation's security, viewed Iran as the linchpin of his periphery doctrine, a strategy designed to counter Arab hostility by forging alliances with non-Arab states in the region. He understood the strategic importance of Iran and invested heavily in cultivating deep economic and military ties, recognizing the mutual benefits that could be derived from such a partnership. Behind the scenes, dedicated diplomats like Uri Lubrani played a crucial role, tirelessly working to keep communication channels open, building trust, and fostering a spirit of cooperation between the two nations. This wasn't merely a sentimental alliance based on shared values, it was a pragmatic, multi-layered partnership driven by mutual interests and a shared understanding of the regional dynamics. The leaders' willingness to defy prevailing regional norms and challenge conventional wisdom created a period of relative stability and mutual benefit, a testament to their strategic vision and diplomatic skill. Their foresight and courage stand in stark contrast to the bitter rivalry and animosity that would tragically follow in later years, a painful reminder of what could have been. But history, with its unpredictable twists and turns, was about to take a dramatic turn, ushering in an era of profound change and upheaval. 1979 was a year of seismic shifts, a true turning point in modern history, particularly for the Middle East. It was a year that redrew political maps and redefined alliances. The year began with the unraveling of the Pahlavi dynasty. The Shah, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, facing mounting internal pressure and widespread protests, fled Iran, marking the end of an era. His departure signaled the collapse of a regime that had been a key player in the region for decades. And in his wake, Ayatollah Khomeini, the exiled religious leader, returned in triumph. This return was not just a change of leadership, it was a fundamental transformation of the state, founding the Islamic Republic of Iran, a nation built on the principles of revolutionary Shiite Islam. The new regime, under Khomeini's guidance, harbored a deep-seated animosity towards Israel, viewing it as a symbol of Western imperialism, a foreign entity implanted in the heart of the Muslim world. To the new Iranian leadership, Israel was not just a political adversary, but an ideological one, an enemy of Islam that needed to be confronted. This perspective would dramatically alter the geopolitical landscape. Overnight, decades of cooperation built on shared strategic interests and mutual benefits vanished, a complete reversal of fortunes. Diplomatic ties were abruptly severed, ending all official communication and interaction between the two nations. The Israeli embassy in Tehran, once a symbol of bilateral relations, was symbolically handed over to the Palestine Liberation Organization, PLO, a clear demonstration of Iran's new allegiance. And oil shipments, a crucial economic link, were halted, cutting off a vital resource flow. Iran's foreign policy underwent a radical transformation, shifting from pragmatic interests focused on national security and economic development to revolutionary ideology driven by the desire to spread its Islamic vision. With unwavering support for the Palestinian cause now firmly at its core, Iran positioned itself as a champion of the oppressed and a staunch opponent of Israel. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, emerged as a powerful force, not just within Iran, but across the region. Committed to exporting the revolution beyond Iran's borders and actively confronting Israel, the IRGC became a key instrument of Iranian foreign policy. Intelligence sharing, once a tool for mutual security, became active targeting, with each side gathering information to undermine the other. Joint projects, symbols of past collaboration, were abandoned, leaving behind a legacy of broken promises and shattered trust. For Israel, losing its most powerful regional ally, a nation that had provided a strategic buffer and valuable intelligence, was nothing short of a strategic disaster, a blow that reverberated throughout its security establishment. The alliance of the periphery, a network of non-Arab states that had quietly cooperated with Israel, collapsed, leaving Israel more isolated than ever before. This old order was replaced by a new, dangerous fault line, a deep chasm of animosity and mistrust that threatened to engulf the entire region. The seeds of enduring conflict, a conflict that would shape the Middle East for decades to come, were irrevocably sown in that tumultuous year. The region, forever altered by the events of 1979, would never be the same, its future inextricably linked to the complex and often volatile relationship between Iran and Israel. Ironically, the first decade of open hostility saw secret cooperation. When Iraq invaded Iran in 1980, Iran desperately needed spare parts for its American-made arsenal. Publicly, Iran denounced Israel. Privately, it bought weapons through clandestine deals. Israel, fearing an Iraqi victory, supplied arms to Iran to prolong the war and weaken both adversaries. The infamous Iran-Contra affair exposed this covert relationship, with the US and Israel funneling weapons to Iran. For Iran, it was survival; for Israel, a strategic gamble. But this pragmatic cooperation was short-lived. When the Iran-Iraq War ended in 1988, so did the last echoes of their old alliance. The path to open confrontation resumed. By the 1990s, all hope of cooperation was gone. With Iraq weakened, Iran and Israel became direct rivals, waging a shadow war through proxies, assassinations and cyber attacks. Iran built an axis of resistance, arming Hezbollah, Hamas and other groups to encircle Israel. Israel responded with covert operations, assassinating Iranian nuclear scientists and sabotaging military programs. The digital battlefield emerged with Stuxnet, a joint US-Israeli cyber attack crippling Iran's nuclear facilities. Iran retaliated with its own cyber strikes, targeting Israeli infrastructure. The conflict became global, borderless and relentless. The shadow war set the stage for open confrontation. At the heart of the conflict, Iran's nuclear program. For Israel, a nuclear-armed Iran is an existential threat. For Iran, nuclear technology is a sovereign right. Decades of diplomacy, including the 2015 nuclear deal, failed to resolve the standoff. Israel, skeptical of the deal, continued covert sabotage. Iran accelerated enrichment after the US withdrew in 2018. The nuclear issue became a ticking clock, pushing both nations closer to war. Military options are now openly discussed. The stakes have never been higher. The world watches, hoping to avoid catastrophe. In June 2025, the shadow war exploded into open conflict. Israel launched Operation Rising Lion, striking deep into Iran to neutralize its nuclear threat. Using innovative tactics, Israeli forces disabled air defenses and targeted military and nuclear sites. High-ranking Iranian generals and nuclear scientists were killed. Iran retaliated with missile and drone attacks on Israeli cities. Iron Dome intercepted most, but some caused casualties and damage. The era of proxy warfare ended. Now, both nations were in direct, full-scale confrontation. Each strike risked wider regional escalation. The Middle East entered its most dangerous period in decades. The world held its breath, fearing the conflict could spiral out of control. The rivalry had reached a point of no return. The journey from alliance to enmity between Israel and Iran is a cautionary tale of how quickly history can shift. Once pragmatic partners, they are now locked in a cycle of escalation, proxy wars, assassinations, and now open battle. The 1979 revolution shattered their alliance, replacing it with ideological confrontation. Operation Rising Lion marks a new, perilous chapter, with the risk of regional war higher than ever. The fate of the Middle East now hinges on decisions made in Tehran and Jerusalem. History's alliances can become tomorrow's rivalries. The final chapters of this story are being written now, in the fires of a conflict born from a forgotten friendship.